Hello, today we're going to be talking about tomatoes, and I thought I would start off with an update on our tomato experiment as we haven't done one for a while. As you can see, they're all looking pretty okay. Let's have a look and see what each group is. Now this first group were the tomato seeds that were germinated by being in little bags and being held against our skin. So they were kept on the body and germinated with body heat, and they're doing all right. Where these have it's not focusing, where these have gone a little crispy at the edges is just where they've been scorched in the conservatory. They'll perk up, and this one is the biggest one, and we've even got a little flower. There we go. So these are the body ones. They're doing all right. Okay, let's move on. The second group here were the ones that were germinated on the radiator. And if you compare to the body heated ones, the body germinated ones, there are more bigger ones. Overall, they are bigger. And it's not pot size because they're all in small pots and they should have been potted on. But what happened was I was hardening them off, ready to put them out, and then we had a surprise frost coming, so they all went back in again, and I thought, well, I'm not going to pot them on because they're going to be going out soon, and then they were just growing and growing in the conservatory. And now they're going to be potted out maybe tomorrow. I'll give them another day of hardening off, and then I'll plant them out. So I'm not going to change the pots today. And we've got a couple of flowers on these. I think there were 2 plants that had flowered with these. I'm just trying to find the one that was, found it. So we have a flower here. Camera's not focusing again. A flower there, and here I'm quite excited about this one actually. Rose doesn't know about this one. Rose, come and have a look at this tomato flower. Am I going to be able to zoom in without losing focus? There we go. There's a few flowers in there. They've melded together. This is called fasciation. And what happens is the fruits that you get for it will be a couple of fruits or however many flowers there are. Look, Rose, can you see? See this flower?
Yeah.
Do you remember the fasciated dandelion that we found?
Yeah.
That's happened to that flower, hasn't it?
Yes.
So what happens is, because the flowers make the fruit, and that might be, I mean, it's only small, so it looks like maybe two flowers in one there. We are going to get 2 tomatoes in one.
So we're going to get a huge one.
A huge one, but they look a bit weird, and they have a funny name. These tomatoes from fasciated flowers, and they're called cat-faced. I don't know why they're called cat-faced, because I think cats' faces are beautiful.
So do I.
But anyway, so that will be interesting to see what that grows into, won't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we will keep an eye on this little fasciated flower. There's so much around for the camera to focus on, it's not picking up that flower. There we go. So anyway, so that's how it's going with the radiator plants. I mean, and if we compare just the 2 biggest, let's put that one there. So that's the top of the body heated one, and that's the top of the Radiator one, and they're both in big pots. So obviously pot size does matter, but it hasn't stopped the other ones growing up. The Radiator ones have grown up versus the body ones, and they're all in the same, there's not much of a difference, to be honest, all in the same size pot. Now the reason we chose to do this, we chose to do the germination on the body, was we were watching a video from a guy who said that he always germinated his tomato plants by putting them in a little bag in front of his wood burning stove. And I thought, I'd never thought of doing that before. I've never germinated tomato seeds before. I've always just planted them. So, you know, we're always looking for the next experiment. So that's what made us take this on. Now, he said one year what he did was he decided to keep them on his body. So he kind of like tucked them inside his t-shirt and kept them close to his skin. And he now preferred that method of germination. So that's what prompted this experiment. But if you look at the two, I mean, it wasn't uncomfortable carrying it around, but you know, I'd be worrying about it at night time. Was it kept warm enough? So I'm not sure I would recommend that as a method of germination. And there was a couple of other ways we did for comparison. These ones, which haven't done so well, these were propagated just with a plastic bag, you know, like you would normally. They were put in soil rather than just germinated in, I think we used tissue and a plastic bag. So these haven't done so well. So clearly pre-germinating the seed is better, but you know, we've still got tomato plants. And these ones, which are overall the biggest, I mean, we've got that one, the biggest overall is from the Radiator, but consistently the biggest were ones that were just planted. Nothing was done to these. We had no germination, no bag, no heat coming from anywhere. They were just planted. So I think what this experiment has shown is that you don't have to bother doing anything. I mean, if you do, you know, it works. If you don't, it works. If you put a plastic bag over the seeds, it still works. It's just not as efficient. So that's our results of our tomato experiment. Nature wants to grow. All the plants want to give fruit. They want to grow, they want to reproduce. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. What will we do next year? Just stick them in the dirt, stick them in the compost and let them grow. Now I wanted to talk about varieties of tomato. We've grown two varieties this year. Well, two I'm going to talk about right now. So the first one is San Marzano 2. I got these because they are a great sauce variety. If you watch some of the Italian grandmas making passata, they always use the San Marzano variety. So if it's good enough for them, it's certainly good enough for us. So that is what all of these are. They're all San Marzano 2s. And I'm hoping to make a lot of sauce. Now the reason we're making a lot of sauce is I'm allergic to tomatoes. I'm highly allergic, and they're one of my favourite fruits. It's not an allergy I was born with. About, I don't know now, 13, 14-ish years ago, my health took a turn for the decline, and my immune system took a bashing, and randomly I became allergic to tomatoes. It was, you know, when I was told that had happened, I didn't believe it for a long time. and I still continued to try having one of my favourite snacks, which was a punnet of cherry tomatoes on my desk, and I wasn't very well with it, so I eventually accepted that I was okay, now allergic to tomatoes. And then I realised one day that I was still having tomato ketchup, and I was still having pizza with no ill effect. So we worked out if it's cooked, and we were also having arrabbiata, which uses passata, and I was fine with that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look into doing some canning. So I'll be doing videos on that. So watch out for those when these are all fruited, how to process them. And so there we go. This is why we're growing San Marzano. Long story there. So that's that. And I've also grown the Marmande because a friend gave them to us, and I wanted lots and lots of tomatoes, and yeah, that's that. Now both of these are what are called Cordon varieties. If you're new to tomato growing, that's going to sound a bit odd. Now people always used to say, make sure you do your side shooting, and I just think, what does that mean? You know, if you just leave the tomatoes, they'll grow and they'll produce fruit, and yes, they will. So what you need to do is, to get the most out of your tomatoes, is if you have a look on the back of the packets, it might say Cordon variety, or it might say, is this going to go on here? Support with canes and remove side shoots. And on this one, the Marmande, it says, oh, these are a bush variety and do not require side shooting. My apologies, I'm getting muddled up with the third variety we're growing. So the Marmande will not need side shooting. I'll show you what that is in a minute, but the San Marzano will. Now I've got two here that are the Marmandes. That one looking a bit droopy because it needed some water, and that one, they're both Marmandes. So basically we can leave those, they can do as they want. They will just grow bushy and produce their fruits. Now I will just briefly mention, because of my confusion, the other one which I hadn't talked about yet was Rose's Harry Potter Nimbus tomato. This one, I believe it's this one. Yes, this one is also a Cordon variety. So it's the San Marzano and the Nimbus. They're both Cordon variety, and all this one says is remove side shoots regularly. That's all that one says. Now with these two, what you can do is grow them up a truss and remove the bottom leaves. I will show you how that's done when we've planted these out, but for right now I'm going to show you the side shoots. Well, ignore the Marmandes because they can do as they want when they're planted out, but let's move on to the Cordon varieties. Right, so this is one of the San Marzanos. Now when it says side shooting, what it means is, let's get down, if you look here, we have a main branch coming out, and then we have another little one coming out of the bit in between. Can you see that? And it's this we want to remove. Sometimes this is called the elbow. The terminology used can be quite confusing if you're not used to it. So when they talk about side shooting, if you have a Cordon variety, if your packet says remove the side shoots or do side shooting, then this is what it means. You need to remove that. Now I've got a nail, so I'm just going to pinch that out. Okay. Now, if these were bigger, you can plant that and you get another plant. Tony at Little Farmer's Farm does that. I would, because as I've just said, I want lots and lots of tomato plants, but I don't have any rooting powder. Now if you look at tomatoes, is this going to show? Let's see how close I can get without it losing focus completely. There are little hairs, and basically with a tomato, each of these little hairs will produce a root. Now what I can do, look, there's another one here, can you see? So we've got the main shoot here, and then we've got a side shoot here. So I shall remove that. There we go. And another one here. And you see it coming out. There's the main one. This is the main stem. We've got there. See, I saw, personally, I consider this the main shoot and this a side shoot. But it's these little diagonal ones, there we go, that are considered the side shoots. So what you do is, look, there's another little one here. This focus is terrible. You'll be pleased to know I've got a tripod on order. Should be arriving imminently. So we just go around the plant, removing, and the higher up you go, the smaller the side shoots get. So I'm just literally going to pinch these up. I mean, these little tiny ones you can't do anything with. So there we go. I mean, there's one there as well, right by the flower. So I shall take that out. Now I've got here 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4. So I'm just going to pop them in a little bit of compost and just see if they take. I don't know if they will, because as I say, I don't have any rooting powder, but I'll pop them in, and it'll be something for another video. We'll monitor how they do. Right, there we go. I just had this tray of compost that was moist. Hello, Mr. Blackbird. Saying, get out of the way, I want to come and get my mealworms. So I had this tray of compost that was damp already, and the water had soaked in, so I have popped them in there. All you expert tomato growers are probably cringing that I've done it all wrong. But as I say, I don't have any rooting powder. I could have maybe popped them in some water to see if the roots would take, but there they are. They will, as my mother-in-law says, grow or compost. There we go. Now, if you really wanted expert level advice on tomatoes, then you need to visit the Roots and Refuge Farm on YouTube. That's Roots and Refuge Farm, and they have a video called How to Grow the Best Tomatoes. The title is longer than that, but it's like that, and it is 28 minutes of wonderful information, everything you could possibly want to know about tomatoes. So do go and check her out. She's quite a big channel. She really knows her stuff. Best tomato video I have seen. So there we go. Please live. Having 6 extra plants would be a nice bonus. Hey, look what has just arrived. It's the phone tripod. Awesome. And I've even got a little tiny remote control to stop and start you. I'll be all professional now. I'm not going to redo all the blurriness I've done so far today, but hopefully from next time I'll be all professional, no blurriness. Fingers crossed. Now, I wanted to show you these. These are Rose's Harry Potters, otherwise known as Nimbus. These are an F1, which are great to grow, but you can't save the seeds from these. But they were Nimbus, and she was saying, please can I have these Harry Potter tomatoes? And I'm not going to say no. So we've grown these. They've been really slow to grow, but as you can see, there are a couple, actually there's 4. These 2 definitely need potting on, and these 2 I'm just going to pot on just because that's what I'm going to do right now. So I've done this before, but I'm going to show you in case you've missed it. I've got my pots here with the hole in. I put a little bit of compost in down there, and I put, you know, a pinch of bone meal in to encourage the roots to go down. Mix that in, and then I just topped up with normal compost. So I've left the camera on the tomatoes because I'm going to show you how we get these out. So you hold the leaves, now you can see here these 2 bottom leaves, these were the seed leaves. Okay, that's why they look different. We lift that up. Hopefully you can still see that all right. Needs a bigger hole. And you can plant this quite deep. You can actually plant it all the way up to these leaves if you like. But that will do for us. These are strong, healthy plants. And Rose has made some labels. We've got a label maker she's obsessed with. I wouldn't normally let us be so frivolous, but there's only 4 plants and they're her special ones. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do with that is, you can probably tell the compost is dry. I have here a tray of water. This is just a lid from a propagating tray. It's what I've got that's waterproof. So I'm just going to pop that in there, and it'll soak the water up from the bottom, encourage the roots to go down. Now let's do the others. Right, take the next biggest one, gently tease the whole lot out, pop it down and firm it in. There we go. And stand it in the water. I hope we're going to get some more of these. Newsflash, Nick's just back from Sainsbury's. As I said earlier, we use a lot of, oh look, a very tiny long root on that. Not sure if you can see that. The wind's catching it. Yeah, he's just back from Sainsbury's. As I said, we use a lot of tomatoes, a lot of passata. And he said the tin tomatoes, ordinary tin tomatoes, are now £1 a tin. So I'm glad we've grown loads of tomatoes. Oh, I'm forgetting the labels. That'll be on my gravestone, I think. Forgot the label. There we go. Yeah, and he did manage to get some that were 85p a tin, and they were the own brand So Organic ones. They were the cheapest at 85p. Petrol's super cheap. 109 I think he said it was. But tomatoes have gone right up. So let's have a count up and see how many plants we've got. Right, now if those 5 there planted, actually there's 6 there, then I have got 30 plants growing, 30 plants out. If the rest of Rosie's grow, there were 15 there planted on 4, it's going to be 11, 41 plants. And then the other day I planted 15 more San Marzano, so that's 56. What do you think? Is that enough? Is that enough tomatoes to be self-sufficient for the year when canning tomatoes? How many cans of tomatoes do you think that is going to produce? And we tend to use between 2 and 4 cans a week. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Right, I think I'm going to leave this video here for today. That's enough tomato talk. I'll do another one, an update of all the rest of our stuff, bits and bobs going on. I think it's gone lunchtime now, so we're going to have a late lunch and then back off down the allotment where we're going to be building some more net tunnels. So I'm quite excited. Quite a lot of our stuff has got flowers on. It's the hardening off time at the moment. Things were hardening off, then they had to go back in because of a frost, and now they're back out again. So I'm hoping that these will be able to go in the ground tomorrow, Tuesday. It's Sunday today. We shall see. Right, so I shall see you on the next video. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. That's all from me. Bye bye.